Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Budapest here in Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a great weekend, staying healthy, staying strong and productive. Get your vitamins, get your exercise. Hi Aldor, hi Mohigul, Sejuti, Gracie, Surya, Bilal. Nice to see many students in the class already. Students, we are looking at speaking part 3 in this class. We're going to do some practice together, and of course I will give you some advice on what you need to do for that band 9. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS success, check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots and lots of materials for you, including opportunity to practice your speaking with other students. I'll show you that real quick. Hi, Carolina. Hi, Rashika. Hi, Nancy. Good to see our members joining in on the class. I'm just going to darken the screen for a moment while I show you the websites and where you can study English and IELTS with your peers. This is our general IELTS website here with the green background. You can click that big red button to join the premium package. And our academic one has this blue background. When you're logged into your My Student account, then you will find all of these goodies in both of the websites, the computer-based exams, the online academic course. You have 6 full exams with PDFs. You have lesson videos, lots of videos, audio CDs, and then off to the right you have this student partner speaking option. This is absolutely free. Okay, we provide this for free. We want students to connect with each other worldwide and practice their speaking for the IELTS. So when you click on that, you will find this other page opening up, and in that page you will find students. Right now we have Kareem, Uzman, Goldie, and Sadiq waiting for someone to video and audio chat with them. Okay, so you can send someone a text message saying, hey, I'd like to practice my IELTS, and then you'll start a video or audio chat. Okay, make sure that you're nice with each other. So that's there for everyone. It's free. Lots of our students use it. Make sure to use that as well. It's 100% free, and it's for you. Hi, Eugen. I'm doing fantastic. Today, that cowboy and panda emoji always get me smiling. All right. Mohammed, I don't think you can use a debit card on our website. You can use credit cards. And there are other modes of payment. You can also get access to our premium package through our apps. So you can get the app Academic IELTS Help on your mobile. Get the full version and then link it to your web account, or General IELTS app will link to gieltshelp.com. Okay. If you have questions, you need some help, just let me know. Send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. I will definitely help you out. Okay, everyone. So right now we'll do speaking part 3. And then tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, no classes. Okay, that's usual. And I'm back on Wednesday with speaking part 1 at this time. And then we will have classes, of course, all the way until the 16th. So Saturday again. And for right now, let's just get into our materials. Let's get into speaking part 3. All right, this speaking part 3 is kind of a continuation of our part 2 that we did this week. Anybody remember what the topic of part 2 was yesterday? Can anybody remind us? This is a speaking class, by the way, everyone, so make sure to speak and repeat. Okay. Abhishek says it was something about a dentist. Yeah. Do you remember what the question was asking, Abhishek? Okay, so we talked about our dentist. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Van. Van Nguyen says it was a person that made me nervous, and our answer for that was our dentist, Dr. Pedersen. Okay, so try to remember that information and use maybe that information in some of your part 3 responses. Okay, so my first tip, okay, to get those nice high band scores, okay, to get high band scores In speaking, you should make use of your part 2 response in part 3. Okay? In this case, our part 2 was a person who made me nervous, and that person was our dentist, Dr. Pedersen. Okay. So keep Dr. Pedersen in mind, okay, as we answer part 3 here. Okay, let's do a couple of questions just to get us going, just to get our thoughts moving, to get our English fluency fired up. Here we go. Let's talk about first impressions. Everybody knows what a first impression is? What is a first impression? Before we get into this more, what's a first impression? What is that? How would you define that? What's another way to say a first impression? Okay. All right. Well, it's the first time you meet someone. So, okay, so the first opinion of a person when you're meeting them for the first time. Yeah. So Rokio says it's the first meeting. Yeah, Rokio, it's the first meeting and your first opinion of that person, right? So let's not even say the first opinion. Let's just say the opinion of a person when meeting them for the first time. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. Yeah, so Mahbuba says it's the notion that one can get when seeing a person for the first time, not something. Oh, something, yeah, it doesn't have to be a person. You're right, Mahbuba. It could be a car. Like, wow, that's an amazing car. It's my first impression. But we're talking about people, okay? So let's talk about first impressions. Give me a nice answer for this one, students. A good answer is basically a full chat response. Okay, about 200 characters. It's an answer, it's an explanation, example. So what should a person pay attention to when meeting an important individual like a teacher or boss for the first time? So give me a nice full sentence for that. Mehak Deep says, I got band 8 in speaking after watching your videos. Thanks a lot, sir. God bless you. And lots of hearts. I got some of those hearts. I can feel the love. Mehak Deep. Thank you. And congratulations. Band 8 is a fantastic score. Good for you. Okay. All right. Janil says, an individual should take care of oneself, wear a clean outfit, and communicate formally when gathering with important people like a teacher or a boss for the first time, because first impression is lasting. Janil, good. I made a few corrections there. Watch your verb agreement. Janil, you had a missing verb there. Wear a clean outfit. Okay. Abhishek says, to meet for the first time an imperative person. Okay. Watch your singular plural, Abhishek, an imperative person. Or meet for the first time imperative people, the no article, right? So Abhishek, to meet for the first time an imperative person, such as a teacher or boss, it is advisable that an individual should pay attention to their etiquette as well as attire, because this not only helps them to give a positive footprint of their character, but it's also beneficial for their future opportunities. It is correctly said by a wise person that the first impression is a lasting impression. Okay, Abhishek, I made some corrections there. You're trying some fairly advanced English grammar structure, so just be careful. That's good. Just really pay attention, okay? Watch your plurals. All right, nice use of correlative conjunction. Good explanation, Abhishek. I liked it, all right? I like the passive. It is advisable, all right? That's good. I like the vocabulary. It's imperative. Just be really careful with some of that grammar, okay? All right. Let's see what else we have. Carolina, I got that heart too. Thank you. Okay. Chen Nguyen says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and happiness. Chen, it's not bad English, but I'm not sure what you are answering there. If you don't have a clear answer to the question, you're just simply not going to get a very good mark. You have to answer accurately, okay? Nagayman says, people should really focus on staying calm, positive, and being polite. Showing a charismatic smile and respect, as well as a willingness to get to know them, can really boost first impression while meeting an employer or an instructor. Right, Un? Very good. Un, throw in the subjects, the teacher, and the boss. Okay? So, while meeting, while in an initial meeting with a person of authority, such as an instructor or employer, a person should really pay attention to not only dressing well, but also being polite, as these will impact, as Abhishek correctly said, their future opportunities as a student or employee. For these reasons, I wear a suit and a smile to work every day. All right. So here we go, everyone. We're warming up our speaking ability here, getting going. Repeat after me. So a little bit of repetition. Copy my intonation, copy my pronunciation, my enunciation. Here we go. What should a person pay attention to when meeting an important individual like a teacher or a boss for the first time? While in an initial meeting with a person of authority, such as an instructor or employer, a person should really pay attention to not only dressing well, but also being polite, as these will impact their future opportunities as a student or employee. For these reasons, I wear a suit and a smile to work every day. Okay. Now, the examiner might ask, why is this? Okay. However, if you've answered that question, they will likely just go to the next question. And ask you this. How well can a person evaluate someone based on the first time they meet? Okay, so how well can a person evaluate someone based on the first time that they meet? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Nice full sentence answer for this one as well. Okay. All right. Janelle, nice example. I see that you retracted your previous message, but good example for the previous question, okay? So it's good that you're thinking of answer, explanation, example, okay? So again, how well can a person evaluate someone based on the first time that they meet? Think about paraphrasing. Think about good explanations and correlative conjunctions. Okay? All right. Kahina Azizi, general test. Look for gltshelp.com. That's our other product line for general IELTS. Okay. All right. Bijay says, in my perspective, we can't judge anyone's character upon first impression. To know them well, we should spend some time with them, talk to them, and get some ideas about their thought process. Okay, Bijay, so how many times do you think we should meet a person before we formulate an opinion? Give me some quantitative language here. I think that's very important. Okay. Un says, I believe that it is a norm for society that important people must be treated with politeness and respect. Such persons can really affect people's lives. My teacher liked me a lot, and she is always, I think, Un, you're answering a previous question there. So make sure to answer the current question, students. Gabi Lazurka says, I believe that an individual can look at the results of their confidence in order to speak loudly, freely, and honestly to demonstrate trust. Gabi, I'm not sure if you're answering a previous question there or if you're going off topic. So, pay attention. Ishan Jafari says, in my opinion, evaluating someone based on first impression is not a good evaluation because the other person may just behave very formally and politely based on the situation that they're in. Okay, Ishan, very good. Nice. Can you give me an example? That would make it great, right? Smooth flowing example, such as when a person is in a job interview, they may be polite, but in their daily activities, they can be quite rude. Like my coworker, Tim, who's always cursing at work. Okay, Ishan? So get that smooth flowing example in there. Okay? Bibek Akaria says, it's very tough to evaluate people when we meet them for the first time. However, a person can get some ideas about them by the way they dress, walk, and talk. Okay, Bibek, so just some basic ideas, some fundamental opinions that you might be, or some initial opinions that we can get? Sure. Oh, it says, I think the best way to assess people from a first meeting is through in-depth topics and some reactions when they are giving us a response. However, it's still difficult to truly understand a person at first glance. Okay, very good. Min Kum says, I would say that it has changed immensely in the past 30 years as people now focus on creating a sense of belonging with a person, whereas people back then believed in creating a good image. I think you're answering another question there. I think you're answering this question. We're on this question. How well can a person evaluate someone based on the first time they meet? Okay. PS says, meeting new persons for the first time or even a stranger with just exchanging a few words can inform that person of some information clearly. For example, when I first met my friend, I thought he was an introverted person, but he turned out to be a socialite after exchanging some words with him. Okay, PS, the end of the response is a little bit unclear. I had to get creative, so be careful about that. Honey says, in my opinion, the first time that we meet someone, we can completely judge them. We can't completely judge them, though we can get some insights from observing their attitude. For instance, in an interview, usually the interviewer frames a person's ability within 30 seconds. Nice use of quantitative language, honey. Notice a few corrections that I made there, adjustments to make it a little bit clearer. Watch that really confusing can, okay? We can't. Make sure that you pronounce that T when you're giving that example, okay? So, I believe that it is possible to get a few simple ideas of a person's character from an initial meeting, such as their level of self-confidence. But I also believe that in order to truly know a person well, it is necessary to get to know them on at least half a dozen different occasions and in different contexts, as human personality is very complex and often a reaction to specific surroundings. I mean, a person will behave very differently when meeting them for the first time at a pub compared to meeting them at a church. Right? We would imagine if you meet John at a church for the first time, they will probably behave somewhat differently than if you meet John at your local pub for the first time. Here we go. So just repeat after me. How well can a person evaluate someone based on the first time they meet? I believe that it is possible to get a few simple ideas of a person's character from an initial meeting, such as their level of self-confidence. But I also believe that in order to truly know a person well, it is necessary to get to know them on at least half a dozen different occasions and in different contexts, as human personality is very complex and often a reaction to specific surroundings. I mean, a person will behave very differently when meeting them for the first time at a pub compared to meeting them at a church. Okay, and notice this little expression here, half a dozen. So again, it's good to learn a few of these kind of subtle expressions, like half a dozen for the number 6, okay? With these numbers in English, you will often hear native English speakers say a couple of times, half a dozen times, a dozen or so times on numerous occasions. And these are quantitative for the most part, so they will make your language sound natural and accurate, okay? All right, let's jump here a little bit. So let's say you're moving along really nicely in your speaking part 3, and the examiner says, okay, well, let's talk about networking with people, okay? So networking with people means getting to know people, making connections with people, possibly business connections with people. And these are all the words that should be coming to mind, like business meetings, social gatherings, conferencing, parties, okay? All right. Harpreet says, sir, my speaking test is tomorrow. Is the cue card going to be something new or old? Harpreet, the cue cards are always new. They have hundreds of different cue cards to choose from, and they're always generating new cue cards. So the wording on your cue card will always be different, okay? There's no such thing as a repeated cue card, all right? Okay, so here we go with the first question. Let's talk about networking with people. What are the benefits of building relationships with people in the community? Okay. So give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. What are the benefits? Don't think about the follow-up yet. They won't ask you that one yet. Think about this first question. Okay. So what are the benefits of building relationships with people in the community? Give me a nice full sentence, answer, explanation, and example for this one. Hint, hint. Don't forget about Dr. Pedersen, the dentist. Okay, I know we haven't talked about him in the last couple of questions, but it's a good idea to kind of weave your part 2 response into your part 3 so that you sound more original and more coherent. Okay? So what are the benefits of building relationships with people in the community? All right, Bijay says there are a plethora of advantages for building relationships with different people, as they might get help in different domains. For instance, this one guy who I met on the bus helped me in the government office to do a visa application. Okay, Bijay, good. The word plethora, yeah, it's kind of fun. But students, please don't think that just for using a word like plethora, you're going to get a great band score. You have to show much, much more than just a couple of fancy words, especially ones that are popular in online videos, okay? But Bijay, good answer. Bijay, don't use the word you, okay? Don't use the word you. Don't talk directly to the listener. It's not good communication, okay? We do it all the time in native speaking, but we want to avoid that in professional communication. All right, Ois, I think you're answering a previous question, so let's jump to this one here. All right. Rohan Sharma says, building relationships with people helps others to know about what is happening nearby. I mean, what is going on in their surroundings. Yeah, especially with these days, Rohan. You could put in some smooth examples with which shops are open, when they're closed because of the pandemic that's going on, right? Now, don't get stuck on the pandemic idea, but you could definitely weave that in there in this case, okay? All right, Un says, the merits of having a good relationship with people in society are compassion and a better understanding. I mean, meeting new people can broaden a person's knowledge through interactions and forming friendships. Un, very good. Okay. Okay. Marguba says it's important to have relationships within the community because neighbors can aid a person when they have difficult times and they can share ideas with each other. Good, Marguba. Again, don't use the word you. Okay, students, stay away from the word you. Instead, use better nouns like neighbors. Okay. Pashidhu, Matthew says, in the present world, people are very busy and often don't have good mental health. Building relationships with people and having people to talk about problems is really beneficial for maintaining a healthy spirit, right? Okay, Matthew, try to put the second half in the beginning. Don't talk about the present world, people don't have relationships and good mental health, because then you're going off topic. If I say, well, in the present world, people don't really have very good relationships and mental health, then there's a good chance the examiner is going to interrupt me and say, what are the benefits of building relationships? So they'll repeat the question because they think you didn't understand. Or they'll just jump to the next question because they think you're going off topic and you're just saying something that you memorized. So it's really important, students, that you answer the question directly right away, especially on IELTS. Okay? It's not like a real-world conversation. If you're not on topic, or if you go the long road around to the topic, the examiner might interrupt you or might ask you the next question because they think that you're just reciting. Is everybody catching that? Can I get some thumbs up on, yeah, you understand that? Because that's really important, especially in part 3. Also in part 1, but especially in part 3, okay? Be direct. Answer the question directly, okay? Paraphrasing directly. Watch like this. So the advantages. So the examiner says, what are the benefits? I start with the advantages. Right away, the examiner knows I'm answering this question. Okay, all right, I see some thumbs up. We react to says, yeah, okay. So see, what are the benefits? The advantages. If I start talking about the birds and the bees and the trees and the mountains, the examiner is going to cut me off. Okay, it's not a real conversation in this way. All right, so to the point. So the advantages of establishing strong ties with people in our close proximity is that we can both stay informed about important community events and reach out for help in times of need. Yesterday, I was baking a cake and I needed some sugar pronto. It was really handy that my neighbor Kate was able to lend me some or give me some. Otherwise, my cake would have been a disaster. Okay. All right. Or I could have used my Dr. Pedersen example, right? Like I got a tip from my neighbor Kate that Dr. Pedersen is the best dentist in town, who I was talking about in part 2. So let's not forget about Dr. Pedersen. I mentioned that. So here we go, everyone. Repeat after me. What are the benefits of building relationships with people in the community? The advantages of establishing strong ties with people in our close proximity. Notice this is very directly right away answering this. Okay? All right. Reno, very good. So Reno says it is easier to call a neighbor to babysit at a moment's notice in case of an emergency, like if my mother-in-law got really sick. Okay, very good. All right. Shahil, yeah, it's absolutely okay to give an example as long as you're starting on topic and you're staying on topic. Okay, so the advantages of establishing strong ties with people in our close proximity is that we can both stay informed about important community events and reach out for help in times of need. Yesterday I was baking a cake and I needed some sugar pronto. It was really handy that my neighbor Kate was able to give me some. Otherwise, my cake would have been a disaster. That would have spoiled my daughter's birthday party. Okay. Are there any negatives? Okay. So this could be a follow-up question, and oftentimes follow-up questions can be more challenging because you need more detail and they can kind of be a little bit surprising. So here is a follow-up. Are there any negatives? So are there any negatives to forming relationships with people in the community? Okay, give me a nice answer to this one. We react to, I see your question, contact your registration center, send them an email and ask them that exact message. They're the only ones that can help you with that. So say, hey, look, I filled out my exam, I still don't have it. There could have been some kind of problem with the exam, so they might take a few weeks to investigate the exam. That's usually what happens, but you should definitely contact them, okay? All right. Pullen Parmar says, well, it depends on the individuals because some of them are very materialistic people and they don't care about others and their feelings, and so problems can arise. Yeah, Pullen, good start. What's a negative? Yeah, the pitfalls. So what are those negatives? So can there be any negatives forming relationships with people in the community? Okay. Jagal says, can we add a sour example where there has been a racism incident occurred? Jagal, yeah, absolutely. So IELTS is not going to judge you. Be professional, of course, but you can express your opinion. Make sure that it makes sense and it's in context. Okay? IELTS is not a sociology exam. It's not a psychology exam. It's not a math exam. It's not a geography exam, it's an English proficiency exam. So you can say whatever you want, just be polite. Okay, it's not a truth exam, so you don't have to tell the truth. You just have to be polite and produce good English. Mahdi says, there's no important thing that I can think of, but if the person we are getting to know better feels that some busybody person is trying to pry on their life, they may get offended. Yeah, okay, I kind of see where you're going with that, Mahdi. You want to express that clearer, I think. Pranay says, in my opinion, there are very few negatives compared to positives with networking with people. Okay, Pranay, keep going. All right, Ota Janov, Farouk Bek says the disadvantages may be that in certain instances, individuals who are considered close can abandon the other in times of need. Okay, and that can be a big problem. Yeah, can you give me an example? That's exactly where some example might help to clarify what you're saying. Okay, Rohan says, yes, there are various negatives. One of them is that people which we are communicating with can think of us as a person who is always just ready to look into others' windows. So prying eyes, okay. Oh, it says there are no negatives. There's a word. I wonder if anybody thought of this word. It starts with a GH. Anybody know what this word is? So when somebody asks me, are there any negatives to forming relationships with people in the community, this is definitely one of the words that comes to mind. And it's to be the stereotype that is common amongst women, especially elderly women. Of course, that's just a stereotype. It's probably common along many people. They're very good, Carolina. You're reading my mind. Gossip. Yeah, gossip. Absolutely. Not ghetto, but gossip. Yeah, gossiping. Everybody knows the meaning of gossiping? Yeah? Okay, gossip. 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 Let's see what the spelling is on that. Gossip, sure. Okay, so gossiping. Yeah. Okay, I think the British spelling is with an H. But anyway, so here we go. Are there any negatives? Yes. As with most parts of life, there are two sides to the coin, and there can certainly be downsides to forming relationships with others in the community. There may be people who are malicious and gossip about others, or take advantage of them. My neighbor Frank borrowed my electric drill like 2 years ago, and he still hasn't returned it. Okay, does that sound familiar? Hey, neighbor, can I borrow your drill? I just need to fix my kid's bed. Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Here's my drill. 2 weeks later, hey, Frank, that drill. Oh, yeah, no, I'll give it back. Just let me, okay. 2 weeks later, hey, Frank, about that drill. Oh, no, I got one more thing to do, and then you'll have your drill back. And 2 years later, you're like, where's that drill? Oh, yeah, I think I lent it to Frank like 2 years ago. All right, so here we go. Repeat after me. Are there any negatives? Yes. As with most parts of life, there are two sides to the coin, and there can certainly be downsides to forming relationships with others in the community. There may be people who are malicious and gossip about others or take advantage of them. My neighbor Frank borrowed my electric drill like 2 years ago, and he still hasn't returned it. Right? Okay, that works. So again, negatives, plural. So I'm giving two. One is malicious, gossipy neighbors. The other are neighbors who borrow items and then don't return them, right? So those are the negatives. Okay, so when you see plurals, make sure that you give two. Be visual. Okay, that can really, really, really help when you're being visual. All right. Okay. Next question. Here we go. How has technology impacted the way people network? Is this a good development? So they might ask you the question as one followed by the other, or they might just ask you both at the same time. How has technology impacted the way people network, and is this a good development? Okay. All right. Ferdovs says technology has transformed many aspects of interaction between people, among people. Ferdovs, between is two. Native speakers make that mistake too. Ferdovs is we'll say between people, but it's actually among people is the more accurate way to say that, because between is two, among is many, right? So technology has transformed many aspects of interaction among people. I mean, nowadays humans talk to each other through social media using mobile devices, also finding blind dates online, doing group projects, and even multi-million-dollar company meetings through Zoom. Right, Ferdovs, very good. Okay. All right. Reno says, there are quite a few. One I can think of is that by establishing more local connections, a person may have to take up extra responsibilities to take care of neighbors, which could be a burden. Rano, that's for the previous. It's a good thought. Okay. Try to think of one more, right? Rajinder says technology has had a great impact on people's networking in a positive way, as now people from any part of the world can connect with others through the internet. Okay, Rajinder, be more specific and use the present perfect, right? How has technology impacted present perfect? So you want to use present perfect, okay? All right, we react to when I'm in Punjab. I will definitely look you up for some of those delicious foods. And I am planning to visit India in the future. I think it will be in 2022 that I'm planning to do that. Okay. But you never know, maybe earlier. Pasidhu Matthew says technology has impacted networking positively as well as negatively. People message each other often, which is good, but they don't meet each other face to face to communicate. And that's not a positive because there's a lack of emotional context. Okay, Matthew, not bad. I made a few adjustments there, right? So, yeah, I think for Dobbs, you had a very nice verb with transformed. So, technology, especially the internet, has dramatically transformed the way people interact with each other. Not only has social media, video chat, and mobile phones enabled global communication amongst friends and colleagues, but it has also led to a greater amount of communication, of interaction than ever before. However, many people argue that this has also created relationships that are devoid of emotional content. All right. Devoid means lacking in this case. So here we go, everyone. Repeat after me. How has technology impacted the way people network? Is this a good development? Well, technology, especially the internet, has dramatically transformed the way people interact with each other. Has, okay, present perfect. Dramatically transformed the way people interact with each other. Not only has social media, video chat, and mobile phone enabled, notice how I'm using present perfect again, has enabled global communication amongst friends and colleagues, but it has also led, has transformed, has enabled, has led. 3 present perfect instances, okay? I'm really clearly showing the examiner that I can use present perfect, okay? To a greater amount of interaction than ever before. However, many people argue that this has also created, that's my 4th present perfect. Here the examiner is going, okay, grammar complexity, check, check, check. Coherence, check, 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 check. Band 9, okay? However, many people argue that this has also created relationships that are devoid of emotional content. All right, everyone, that's the last question for today. I saw lots of fantastic answers in the chat. If I didn't get to yours, my apologies. That doesn't mean you should give up. You should push forward, and you should always answer and speak freely. The best way to learn language is to learn it like a young child, without care and with tons of confidence. Okay? That's the key. So keep pushing forward, and make sure to visit us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gltshelp.com for general IELTS. Practice your speaking on both of the websites. There's lots of tools there for you. You can find other speaking partners looking to practice. You're very welcome, Moria. You're very welcome, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your day. The next live class will be on Wednesday at the same time as this class. That will be speaking part 1. I will post next week's schedule on our YouTube community board, so you will see it there. Thank you, Eugen, for all the wonderful emojis, and I wish you all health and happiness over the weekend. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Thank you, members. You're welcome. Carolina, you're welcome, honey. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. I will be back in a few days. I'm Adrian, signing out from Budapest for now. Bye.